Everybody, it's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Lightfall Season of the Wish intel. And we're going to cover a lot of different things in today's video, but mostly the best loot farms that you should be doing and how you should be doing them. There's a lot of new things, a lot of new ways to farm loot because of the new activities added in Season of the Wish that are absolutely amazing, but may not be as accessible to solo players as previous seasons, just because there is a multiplier in the difficulty of the new activity. And I am talking, if you haven't played it at all, or if you haven't even had a chance to jump onto the new season yet, we're talking about the Coil. Now, this activity I find to be really entertaining. It's actually the kind of activity I would hope from a season, as it's something that escalates, gets tougher and tougher as you go through it, and the rewards are absolutely insane. Now, there are a few things that you can do within the Coil that allow you to get a higher score, thereby get more loot or even a secret loot room at the end. Most of it revolves around getting the little motes that drop from either certain enemies that you would kill. There's one specifically that is sort of a big cache of these motes and will spawn randomly between the two traversal zones, and shooting the pots that are scattered around on the ground that also drop these motes. So I think that's all well and good. I think that's all awesome. I actually really love the new activity. Hopefully you have a chance to jump into it, as it is matchmaking, but if you're having trouble getting to those higher level activities, or if you just want something a little bit more casual, there's actually something really amazing currently in the game that was buffed this season, and I have no idea if this is going to be patched, because it actually seems like they buffed it too much. And that is simply going to destinations and farming out planetary chests, specifically in the Dreaming City. The reason you want to do the Dreaming City is because any engrams that you get from any of the just random chests that are spawning in Devilian Mist, for example, that you would get from running around, have a chance to drop Season of the Wish Ingrams. And also will give you Season of the Wish rank as well as XP. So you'll ultimately be able to craft more of the weapons from Season of the Wish. The other thing is simply just getting all the materials like barium boughs also give you Season of the Wish rep. So it's kind of a double, and all it revolves around you doing is simply running around Devilian Mist. Now, that might not sound like the most entertaining thing, but when you see the rewards, which is, I was getting 1 engram every 3 chests, and it wasn't just for Season of the Wish, because you also have a chance to get the Gunsmith Ingrams, the new Gunsmith Ingrams. So that'll also give you Gunsmith rank ultimately, but also gives you a chance on the new Gunsmith weapons, which rotate every single day now on a featured rotation. So now I'm just going to go through a couple of things that I would actually be farming for if I was doing any of these farms. We're going to head over quickly to Riven. And there's a couple of weapons that you can just get randomly, but as far as the focusing weapons from Riven, I'm not really a big fan of any of the old Undying weapons, personally. Though there might be a good roll on a couple of them. I'm sure there is. One on the submachine gun. I remember the hand cannon, maybe the pulse rifle also being pretty good for PvP. Can't really remember on the scout rifle, but if there's any particular roles for any of the Undying weapons that you're looking for, let me know in the comment section down below. As far as the new Season of the Wish weapons, the shotgun I've heard is actually very good for PvP. The fusion rifle is the one that I was really looking for, and this is really good for PvE, and I actually have an example of the role that I was chasing because I finally got one with hatchlings. Encore maybe could take it or leave it, but I also did get a charge time masterwork. Encore is not a bad perk. Final blows grant a stacking stability, range, and accuracy bonus to this weapon. Precision final blows grant more stacks. It's more of a PvP, though, focused perk. But hatchlings is absolutely amazing with all strand builds. It's just something you really want to have, and having it in the primary with a fusion rifle, there's not many of these, is awesome. The new origin trait is also pretty good. I was really just looking for a charge time masterwork with hatchlings. These were the two perks that I was really chasing. As far as the other weapons are concerned, trace rifle with stasis. This is the first time we've had a trace rifle in the primary slot with that particular burn. So also one definitely to chase. I was able to get a couple of these. The bow, can't really tell you whether to take it or leave it. I'm sure there's a place for it, as it is in the Champions meta this season. And I'm using a exotic bow for the first time with stasis that's actually seeming to help me get through some of the later or higher end content early, like legendary lost sectors, what have you. We have the pulse rifle. Don't know exactly which perks you'd want for that. And we have the linear fusion rifle, which I don't know if linear fusion rifles are still really good again, though I'm sure they have their place in certain activities. It's sort of an interesting looking one. I bet it has incredible auto aim on it. And then I'm just going to hop over to the tower really quick, and we're going to talk about a couple other things. Exotic farming, as well as the new rotation for Banshee 44, and some stuff you might want to be on the lookout for there. But as I said, if you want to just do a casual farm where you just sort of run around and grab some chests and ultimately get a lot more loot than I think any of us were thinking we were going to be getting, without the stress of the new activity, or I don't know, maybe you didn't buy this season yet. In any case, this is a place definitely to go and farm out. There's a lot of chests in this area. Another thing I would recommend doing is making sure, because we have a lot more ghost mods now, that you have the premium cache detector mod on, the Wombo detector, just to help you find all those different materials as well as chests. Over at Master Raoul, something I wanted to discuss, because, well, currencies are a changin'. They have gone through a big change already. So never before has the exotic cost, I think, been really so relevant, though maybe not quite as important, because if you are doing the new activity or any of these farms, you're going to be getting a lot of all of these materials, Ascendant Alloys, as well as Enhancement Prisms, as well as Enhancement Shards. So I do recommend doing it. But if you don't want to pay focusing costs for exotics, you know, maybe you want to cut down on how much all of this is really going to be, or you're really going to be spending as far as focusing the exotic that you want, there is a really big glitch that has not been patched yet. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that this has not been patched, and never before have I gotten so many questions on one specific thing that I've talked about so much. But that just tells me that it's very important that people understand it. Now, there's new players to the game in Season of the Wish. There's people who are returning to the game probably after a while, so you might not know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's some reworked exotics that are incredible. The Kerosene armlets are really good at the moment. So I'm going to give you the best advice you could probably ever hear in Destiny 2 about how to farm exotics properly, because you are not doing it correctly. So this is how you do it. The number one way to get exotics is from legendary lost sectors. Now, of course, the Legendary Lost Sector rotates daily, and the loot for the Legendary Lost Sector also rotates daily. Today we have exotic helmets, so if you're looking for an exotic helmet, now is the time to farm it out. Bay of Drowned Wishes might not be the quickest Legendary Lost Sector, but it's certainly not the hardest. Now, obviously, you get a better chance on the exotic, and now the featured weapon from the Gunsmith that will be dropping within the Legendary Lost Sector, which is an added bonus based on the difficulty that you do it at. So if you're doing it at the 1840, you're almost guaranteed. If you're doing it at 1830, it's like a 70% chance. But it's very good regardless that you'll either get a weapon or an exotic at the end. You're going to be getting a lot of materials. Being able to farm Legendary Lost Sectors early on in a season is kind of the thing that really gets you ahead fast. I talked in my last video how you could, if you still or you did have any of the previous seasonal artifacts, most notably this one, you could actually add this to your total power score for the season. So as you can see, if I equip my current seasonal artifact, by the way, all the artifact mods still count no matter where they are in your little slot here. So you could have any of these equipped. The new seasonal artifact mods will work. But essentially, as you can see, if I go over my power, I have 1813, which is a 1808 gear score with a +5 bonus. Now, the reason I'm losing a little bit of that is because I only have this weapon on, but if I put on a 1810, as you can see, everything is now full out, and I have an 1810 gear score with a +5 bonus from the season. Now, what's interesting is if I go back and I put on this seasonal artifact, and it only works for this one, and I go over to my power, now you'll see for some reason my gear score has dropped down to 1801. Now, I did explain this in my previous video, but I think people didn't quite understand exactly what I was talking about. So, some reason the game is compensating for what it perceives I should be getting for a bonus, because I had a 14 bonus for this season, which is actually kind of low. You could probably have a 20 or 25 depending on what you had from that season. I guess I didn't play very much. But it's dropping the visual of the 1815 down to match it. So it's basically removing my gear score to compensate. But actually what is happening is that 14 bonus, it's just getting added to the 1815. So even though it looks like it's compensating for it, it's actually not. It's just a visual bug. But what's really happening is whatever your gear score is normally, so for me it would be 1810, plus my bonus from the current season's artifact, so that would put me up to 1815, plus the bonus from my past seasonal artifact. So that would put me up to about 1829. Now, that's how I think it works. There's a chance that it only just goes by your gear score. So for me, it would be 1810 plus 14, so it would be 1824. But in any case, you'd have a power between 1824 and 1829. So now doing the Legendary Lost Sectors really becomes easy. So now we're going to farm out exotics the best way possible by not taking the daily loot and really only focusing on what Legendary Lost Sectors are available. So, as I said before, this one, not that difficult. Not the easiest or the shortest, but not that difficult. But maybe you don't want exotic helmets. Exotic helmets are not the thing that you need at the moment. You want the new Karnstein armlets. So, all you have to do is go and farm this and make sure that you have a full inventory of Ingrams on your person. These could be any Ingrams. So you can see I have a whole bunch of exotics and a few Eververse Ingrams, but just this needs to be full. When this is full, every single time you get an exotic from a Legendary Lost Sector, instead of that Legendary Lost Sector dropping that exotic as a piece of loot, so as, you know, it decrypting automatically as soon as you open the chest to whatever that daily exotic piece of loot is, so for today it would be all exotic helmets, it will instead get sent to your postmaster as an exotic Ingram. Now that exotic Ingram essentially rotates daily in your postmaster. It sort of stays in limbo, almost like, in escrow in your postmaster, waiting to be taken out of your postmaster so that it can decrypt. But when you do that, if you do it on a different day, so tomorrow is exotic gauntlets or exotic boots, I actually think, is going to be the rotator after today. If you were to farm an exotic, have it in your postmaster, and then take it out tomorrow, it will decrypt to exotic boots rather than exotic helmets. So this is the way that you can focus on specific pieces of exotic gear without actually having to pay any cost. Now this also works if it's too early in the season for you to be farming legendary lost sectors. Maybe you don't have the benefit of that past seasonal artifact to help you out a little bit. You can still go up to Neptune and farm out the Golden Patrol. Now that's on a rotator that happens every so often, but it's the same thing with that. If you pick up an exotic from that chest and you have a full inventory of Ingrams, it'll also get sent to your postmaster. So I will, I think, leave a timer for the rotator. I can't remember exactly when or how often it happens. It is random, but I will leave a link to the rotator that tracks this particular Golden Patrol in the description box down below. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is XP. It is early in the season. I'm sure a lot of people are trying to farm up for their seasonal pass. Get those XP bonuses as well as some of the new loot. There is a very easy XP farm over on the moon. This is the only AFK XP farm in the game currently in the deep mission. Simply do the mission all the way to the very end when you have to scan the lectern. I believe it's a lectern or the totem. And once you scan the totem and the room goes black, jump off the nearest ledge. This will reset the encounter right before you scanned it. You scan it again. There'll be a few acolytes you kill, and then you can just stay in the zone where it goes dark and where the totem is and kill Endless Thrall. You can do this AFK with like every single subclass now because subclasses are super powerful. And, well, it's a way to farm out your seasonal pass or get some artifact power without actually having to be in the game. So for anybody who's away from the keyboard for a while, maybe you're in class, as I'm sure a lot of people, well, actually, I guess people are almost on winter vacation now, but maybe you're at work and you just want to do this passively in the background. There's a lot of macros that will let you do that, but I also just recommend, just take a rubber band, and if you're on a controller, tape down your right trigger. Put on a submachine gun. There you go. The last thing we're going to discuss is Banshee 44. Now remember, you will be getting also Banshee rep from farming those Ingrams or farming all those chests at any of the activities, but also in the Devilian Mist. You can now focus all of these weapons. I believe these are for the week. Lodbrook C is one that I would check out for PvP, as well as the Cantata 57. These are really good PvP weapons. The Staccato 46, I think, can roll with Incandescent, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have on our featured weapon page, remember all of these will sort of play towards the Champions meta for the season. So if you're ever looking for a weapon for a specific slot for the Champions meta, we have a bump in the night, which might be kind of good, as rocket launchers are super meta at the moment. The annual skate used to be pretty good in PvP, though I haven't used it in a while. I would maybe check out this pulse rifle, as it is stasis. Stasis is the thing that I've been going with a lot this season so far, though solar seems to be amazing at the moment. So But that is going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. As I said, there was a lot of information here, sort of doing a daily rundown kind of podcast info update. I really like doing these, and I think they have something for everybody and can be helpful on sort of a daily or bi-daily rotation or information sort of, I don't know, purge, I guess you could say. There's always a lot of new stuff coming to Destiny 2, so I try to keep everybody as updated as possible. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Destiny 2 Lightfall Season of the Wish content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel, and we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. If you've watched till this point in the video, you can leave a hashtag Season of the Wish or a hashtag Lightfall in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And remember, when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, if we ever do, we will be giving away an Xbox Series X. So stick around for that. Once more, I'm Wilhelm Scream. Good luck farming this week. Stay tuned for a Xur video tomorrow. First Xur of the season. Should be an exciting one. Hopefully he has some better loot than he was bringing at the end of last season. Good luck farming, and as always, we will see you next time.